What if I told you there's a Bible verse so powerful, so deeply hidden, that it not only transformed the life of one man, but shaped the legacy of the wealthiest king the world has ever known? A verse so potent, it unlocked a flow of abundance so deep that even modern science struggles to explain its effects. This wasn't the result of good investments or royal strategy. It was a spiritual law, a divine principle buried inside Scripture, untouched by most sermons, ignored by most churches, yet available to anyone bold enough to apply it. For centuries, people have been chasing financial success, working themselves into the ground, searching for answers in books, mentors, and formulas. But what if the real answer was never in the world's systems to begin with? What if true wealth, real overflow, and unshakable favor came from spiritual alignment with a divine code that predates economics and time itself? King Solomon didn't become wealthy by chance. He didn't climb a corporate ladder or win a lottery. He tapped into something ancient, something divine, something vibrational. He made a single request, a moment of clarity in the presence of God, and that moment shifted everything. In that divine encounter, he aligned not with money, but with purpose. And because of that alignment, money chased him. Resources found him. Influence wrapped around him like royalty worn from the inside out. Today, you are going to hear what most pastors never dared to preach. You are going to discover the verse that changed everything. A verse that activates what many call favor, but what truly is a spiritual current of quantum alignment with the abundance of heaven. It's not religious, it's not mystical, it's spiritual law, operating in full harmony with how God designed the universe. Because what Solomon tapped into, modern science now calls quantum resonance, the law of frequency. The idea that what you believe, feel, and speak carries energy. When your spirit comes into alignment with divine truth, the physical world starts to rearrange itself, not by magic, but by law, and that law has been in place since Genesis. This video isn't for entertainment, it's for transformation, and if you've ever felt stuck, spiritually dry, financially blocked, or just disconnected from your divine purpose, then this moment is not coincidence. It's a calling, a pull from something higher, because someone watching this isn't just looking for money. They're looking for meaning, for spiritual substance, for divine restoration, and that's what's about to be revealed. If any part of you feels drawn to this message, don't ignore it. If your spirit is stirring, if something deep in you feels like today is different, lean into that. You're not here by accident. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to unlock this code. You were meant to awaken to something greater. So before we move forward, if you're ready to activate this spiritual law over your life, pause right now and comment these two words. I receive. Not for me, but for you. Declare it. Type it as an act of alignment, because when you write it, you're doing more than typing. You're making a spiritual decision to step into the next level of your calling, your resources, and your relationship with the source. What we're about to unlock is sacred, and it starts now. Most people only remember Solomon as the king who had it all: gold, wisdom, women, palaces, peace. But few know the spiritual foundation that unlocked it. The turning point wasn't a war won or a deal made. It was a single moment of divine surrender, a prayer, a request not for power or riches, but for wisdom to lead. And it was in that moment that God responded with something far greater than Solomon asked for. Buried in 1 Kings 3:13, we read the quiet promise: "Moreover, I give you what you did not ask for, both wealth and honor, so that in your lifetime you will have no equal among kings." Now pause. Look again. That single verse holds a hidden law, not just a promise to Solomon, but a glimpse into a divine system of prosperity that doesn't come from hustle, manipulation, or striving. It comes from alignment. What the world calls wealth creation, the Bible calls favor. What we call strategy, heaven calls obedience. And right there in this seemingly simple verse lies what I call the biblical money code, a spiritual law wrapped in humility, designed to unlock supernatural provision. But why haven't we heard more about this verse? Why is this powerful blueprint left out of most sermons on prosperity? Because for generations, this scripture has been buried beneath theological fear and tradition. Preachers often avoid teaching on divine wealth because they fear it will be misunderstood. But in doing so, they've silenced one of the greatest revelations of kingdom living. This verse isn't about greed, it's about trust. It's not about money as a goal, It's about money as a byproduct of divine purpose. And when Solomon tapped into that code, everything changed. What if you could do the same? This is not a formula. It's not some shortcut. This is about opening yourself to the same level of alignment Solomon stepped into. An alignment so powerful, it not only brought him wealth but sustained it. This is wealth that doesn't rot, riches that don't vanish, favor that stays. What Solomon activated wasn't just abundance, it was divine legacy. He accessed a stream of kingdom finance that flowed from obedience, and that same stream is available to those who understand the hidden principles behind it. This is the Solomon wealth secret that religion tried to keep quiet, the prosperity system hidden within the Bible itself, waiting to be unlocked. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. And here's the truth no one talks about. This code that Solomon accessed wasn't some magic phrase, a ritual, or a prosperity slogan. It was an invisible covenant, a spiritual alignment with divine law. And what most people overlook is that this kind of covenant doesn't begin with money. It begins with surrender. Solomon didn't ask for abundance. He asked for wisdom, for a discerning heart. And that decision, made not from greed but from responsibility, triggered a divine equation. Favor plus wisdom equals supernatural wealth. It wasn't earned in a traditional sense. It was given, multiplied, activated by obedience, not ambition. And yet, most believers today are operating under a completely different system, one rooted in human effort, logic, and survival. They are grinding through life, praying in desperation, working without revelation, and wondering why nothing is multiplying. The truth is harsh but necessary. Many are blocked not because they lack effort, but because they are pursuing human wealth without divine alignment. This is the tension between the systems of man and the favor of God. One is built on scarcity, the other on overflow. One says, work harder. The other says, align deeper. One rewards competition. The other releases blessing through obedience. Solomon didn't hustle for riches. He honored the divine order. And when God saw that his heart was rightly positioned, the doors of heaven opened with provision that no system could match. This is the God's favor system. And most people have never truly stepped into it because they're still trying to manifest promises without submitting to the process. But here's the good news. You can access this system starting today. It is not closed. It is not for the elite. It is for the obedient. It is for the available. It is for those who are ready to stop chasing money and start walking in purpose. Because in the kingdom, money follows mission, wealth follows wisdom, and breakthrough follows obedience. You need to understand this deeply. Divine wealth is not something you create. It's something you activate. When Solomon aligned with purpose, favor found him. When he honored the covenant, prosperity located him. And the same can happen for you, if you're willing to let go of control and enter into the mechanics of heaven's economy. And I don't mean theory. I mean spiritual reality. This isn't just theology, it's energetic alignment. When your spirit is tuned to truth, the rest follows. Your mind shifts, your habits change, your life expands, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. If you've been feeling blocked, stuck, like you've been doing everything right and still not breaking through, maybe it's time to stop pushing and start aligning. Because the favor of God can do in a moment what years of effort never could. And when you understand that, everything shifts. So take a second right now and let this sink in. If this is resonating, if something inside you feels like it's finally being seen, type unlock in the comments. Yes, right now. That single word is your declaration, not to me but to yourself, to God, to the algorithm of heaven. Because the next thing we're about to explore will take you even deeper into how this code works and how to use it. Now that you understand the mechanics of the divine wealth code, the question becomes, how do you activate it in your life, starting today? Because this isn't theory anymore. This is your invitation to step into a new reality, one that's governed not by effort alone, but by divine favor. And here's the first mindset shift. You must move from striving to trusting, from grinding to aligning, from believing that you must earn everything to realizing that when you walk in God's favor, provision chases purpose. The world teaches hustle. Heaven teaches surrender. When you shift from, I must make it happen, to God is positioning me, everything starts to change. This is the foundation of the spiritual prosperity formula. Faith plus alignment equals flow. But how do you stay aligned? How do you walk in that favor daily? It's not complicated, but it is intentional. It starts with prayer, yes, but not prayer that begs, prayer that believes, prayer that declares. You begin each day with intentional gratitude, not just for what you have, but for what's already being prepared for you. You speak as if it's already yours, not to manipulate God, but to synchronize your spirit with what heaven has already designed. You take action, not random, desperate action, but aligned action. You move only when your spirit is at peace, when your discernment is clear. You stop rushing, and you start responding. Let me tell you about one woman who did just that. Her name is Rebecca. She was deep in debt, no direction, constant anxiety. One night she came across this same verse from Merck Kings, hidden in plain sight. Something clicked, not just in her mind, but in her spirit. She started applying what you're hearing right now. She woke up daily and aligned her thoughts through scripture and gratitude. She stopped chasing every opportunity and instead focused on the one thing she felt God had placed in her heart, helping women organize their lives spiritually and financially. Within 8 months, her coaching practice was fully booked, her debts were cleared, and more importantly, she said this: "I finally feel like I'm living inside my calling, not outside begging for scraps." Her breakthrough didn't come from a course. It didn't come from luck. It came from application, from activating the hidden verse, from living inside the flow of God's favor. And this is what I want for you. This is not a message for someday. It's a blueprint for today. Because spiritual alignment is not something you wait for, it's something you choose. Today, right now. You don't need more information. You need activation. And this is your moment. So take this seriously. Speak life today. Align your actions with what God has already spoken over you. Begin each day with gratitude. Discern your next step in prayer, and declare favor over your path, because the wealth of heaven is drawn to the voice of faith and the life of alignment. And in the next segment, I'm going to reveal something that may shock you. Why most believers, even those who pray, tithe, and serve, still haven't tapped into divine abundance. Stay with me, because what you'll hear next may unlock the very breakthrough you've been praying for. You've come this far, and now you carry something that most people never will. A living understanding of the biblical code that Solomon didn't just believe in, he embodied. You now hold a spiritual key that's older than kingdoms, more powerful than any financial strategy, and deeply connected to the favor of the Creator himself. But I need you to understand something clearly. This is not the end. This is the doorway. What you've heard in this video is not the full picture. It's the beginning of a new spiritual economy, one that operates through alignment, legacy, and faith in motion. The code is not a one-time experience. It's a daily posture. It's a lifestyle of obedience, clarity, and divine expectation. Because here's the truth. When you live in alignment with the biblical wealth code, you're no longer reacting to life. You're partnering with it. You no longer live by the ups and downs of the world system, but by the eternal flow of God's abundance. And when that happens, everything begins to shift. Your time feels guided. Your work becomes sacred. Your relationships begin to flourish. Your money becomes mission-driven. And you stop just asking for blessings. You start carrying them wherever you go. This is what Solomon experienced. He didn't simply have wealth. He carried a spiritual authority that attracted wealth, influence, peace, and honor. Now imagine this. Waking up every day with a sense of purpose so deep that anxiety can't reach you. Making decisions not out of fear, but out of divine guidance. Operating a business or leading a family. Not just with logic, but with insight from heaven. That's what the Solomon principle was about. It was less about being rich and more about being rooted, less about status and more about stewardship, because true prosperity isn't measured by what you collect, it's measured by what you carry forward. And when you live from that place, money finds you, peace finds you, favor follows you. If you've made it to this part of the video, I know you're not here by accident. You're hungry for more than surface-level sermons. You want real transformation. You're ready to apply truth, not just feel inspired by it. And that's why this is just the beginning of our journey. If you commit to living by this code, you're not just chasing financial breakthrough, you're building a spiritual legacy, a lineage of wisdom, stewardship, and kingdom wealth that lasts beyond your lifetime. And that brings us to the next step. In the next video, Biblical Secrets to Building Wealth from Nothing, we're going to go deeper. I'm going to show you a full plan for building real, tangible wealth from the ground up, starting with nothing but a willing heart and alignment with God. No gimmicks, no fake promises, just ancient wisdom, proven principles, and a roadmap that aligns with how God truly moves. But before you go there, I want you to take one final step with me right now. If something shifted in you today, if you felt that alignment in your heart, drop a comment below and tell me where you're applying this code first. Is it in your finances, your marriage, your freedom, your business, your family? Let me know. You can just write, "I'm activating the code in my finances," or "My family is where I'm applying this." Even one word is powerful. It tells heaven you're serious. It tells the algorithm to spread this message, and it tells me you're part of this movement. So go ahead, type it now, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next key revelation. Share this video with someone you know is ready to break through, and when you're done, don't stop here. Tap the next video. Because this journey isn't ending. It's just getting started. God is with you. Let's move forward together.